Well, Thanksgiving officially has been canceled. I no longer have anything to be thankful for after witnessing an absolute murder in cold blood of my favorite game series of all time in theaters. And I want to go ahead and apologize to the four people that I made come watch this with me. I'm sorry that I ruined your week and possibly the rest of your month. Now, within this group of people that I watched it with, we had the two main audience types that you would have going into this movie: those who have played the first two Resident Evil games, which this movie is based off of, and some who have not played the two games. And a good movie would find a way to make it so both of those audiences could enjoy the movie. And a decent movie would at least, make one of those two audiences enjoy the movie. Obviously, no one enjoyed this movie. I don't know if it's worse for fans of the games or people who know nothing about the games, because if you know nothing about the games, you're probably extremely confused and have no idea what's happening. And if you like the games, you're probably extremely confused and don't understand why things are happening the way that they are. You can take this all the way back to the way this movie begins. In the orphanage, you find out that the kids you're looking at there are Chris and Claire Redfield, and that they're orphans in this umbrella orphanage that are there for undisclosed reasons right now, but then you find out they're going to be experimented on. And then you see Lisa Trevor show up, and she's like best friends with baby Claire, which obviously makes no sense in terms of how the original story goes. But I was like, we'll run with it. We'll see where this goes. And you know where it goes? Absolutely nowhere. It leads to like a 10-second clip near the end of the movie where Lisa Trevor gives Claire the four keys from Resident Evil 2, the spade, diamond, club, all that. And she puts the key in the wall, one of the keys, just a random one, and it opens, and then they go down an elevator and buy Lisa, and then they find a book that's like, oh, she was experimented on, she's MIA. But then again, if she's been living in this orphanage for like 20 plus years, I really don't see how no one noticed her, not a single time, but whatever. So yeah, Claire's the main character, and throughout the movie you get random flashbacks to her in the orphanage about to be taken to be experimented on, but then she like uses her 7-year-old strength to run away from them. Okay, fine, whatever. Claire's the main character, I guess. But it doesn't really feel like that, because they tried to cram in all four main protagonists of the first two games, and none of them really get sufficient development. Claire's the closest one to it, but it just feels so random. All her development comes in flashbacks of her like, oh, there's something going on here. And that's just it. They absolutely butchered the other three. Chris is just there. He's and same with Jill. Both of them, they have almost no purpose other than they are there to walk through the mansion, kill some zombies and some epilepsy-inducing scenes, and then meet back up with Leon and Claire for the finale of killing Birkin in about 5 seconds with like the mediocre Walmart CGI. But yeah, you could tell this from the very first scene of the RPD gang eating in the diner. When you see Jill just being all snarky, she's just gonna be like the cool character, and then there's Chris, who's just kind of there, and then there's Chris wasn't even there. See, I can't even remember these things. Wesker, who, oh wow, what they did to Wesker was awful. Wesker's kind of just like a romantic interest for Jill, but at the same time, he's really there to be kind of like a pseudo surprise bad guy like he is in the first game, but instead of actually being the main villain and the one who organized STARS to be tested in the mansion for combat ability against the zombies, this time he just gets communicated to by what we find out in the post-credit scene is Ada, and Ada's giving him orders to steal the G virus. So Wesker's basically just a mercenary who still likes his friends in the STARS unit, and he's just devolved into this like super short scene where Jill's like, oh, I can't believe you're betraying us to make money and you're gonna leave us here. And then he runs off and he gets shot, and that's the end of his whole deal. Now obviously there's no Barry. They kill off Brad. They don't put in Yawn and Neptune. They just make a little joke about it kind of at the beginning, like, would you rather die by a giant snake or a giant great white shark, blah blah blah. And then there's Sherry. Sherry's in the movie, but for who knows what reason. She's literally just there because she existed in the games, and we're gonna throw Sherry in there because apparently Chris had a good relationship with Birkin because he kind of ran the orphanage in a way, and that was supposed to lead up to like Chris having to kill his father figure, which wasn't developed at all. It's just right there, like, Birkin's been a father to me. Claire, I can't believe you just come back here and you're always on your conspiracy theory. It's awful. So Sherry's just there. There's a scene at the end where Chris and Claire are kind of like making up, like, I should have trusted you all along, Claire. And then Sherry's just sitting next to Chris, kind of just looking at him. She has no lines for almost the entirety of the movie. She's literally just put there. If she wasn't there, it would make literally no difference. That's how you know you wrote the character wrong, when there's no reason for it to be there. And speaking of there being no reason to be there, Leon, the face of the franchise, was just the worst written character. He was given the personality trait of being the dumbass of the group. He's the comic relief. Leon's an idiot who knows nothing about being a cop, and he's only a cop because his dad was a high-ranking officer, and he tells Claire, I don't even know why I'm doing this. Dude barely knows anything about guns. He literally has no hero moments. He doesn't care about saving other people like he does in the game. All he does at the end is shoot the rocket launcher, because why not? Give him a quick little one-liner like you do for the rest of the movie, because, you know, everyone loves quirky Leon. I don't even know where I'm going with all this. And honestly, I don't think the director knew either, because what even was it? Like, the whole movie was broken into sections where you'd get like a little black screen with white text of what time it is, and the whole reason they were doing that is because Wesker got a message from Ada saying Raccoon City was going to be destroyed at 6 a.m. So they kind of play off that, even though pretty much no one knows about this time limit for the whole thing. So honestly, if you're watching the movie, you probably even forgot about that at that point, and you're just like, well, I guess they just want an easy way to jump cut between scenes. And you know, it really gets me that in that post-credit scene, they wanted to set up a sequel. I know that's commonplace now, but I don't see how anyone could have confidence in this movie going over well with people who like the games. Because if you bastardize the story to this degree, to a point where it makes no sense, nothing's explained, and don't get me wrong, in the games, you can play through the games without understanding anything if you don't find all those optional files. So I get it, it's not the easiest thing to explain in one movie. But why did you go out of your way to throw 2 full games into an hour and a half? It was a dumb decision. You dumbed down the characters to a ridiculous amount of just stupidity, and with what little screen time you do have to put a story together, it's thrown random flashbacks that are so useless, and it's such a lazy way to tell the story. The mystery of what's going on is immediately thrown out the window, and I get it, this story's known by most people. Everyone knows Umbrella's the bad guy in the end, but for you to just sell out at the beginning and pretty much reveal who all the bad people are, it just makes you wonder what you're watching the movie for. There's a ton to be said about this, but I don't want to break down scene by scene and look through everything I forgot, because I forgot for good reason. This movie's dumb. I don't think many people could enjoy it. Maybe a small group of people, but there's so much wrong with it. Feel free to let me know what you hated the most about it. By far, it has to be Leon's character for me. Like, why would they do that to most people's favorite character? But yeah, I'm gonna stop thinking about this movie now, because yeah, I knew it wouldn't be great, but oh wow, I didn't think it could be this bad. Happy Thanksgiving.